Well, welcome to the podcast. Welcome, Andy, Andrew, Mr. J. Jacobson. How are you?
Feeling good. Thanks for letting me be here today, and I'm excited for the questions you're going to ask and the things we're going to talk about in this awesome podcast.
Andy, Andrew, Mr. J, Big J, what do you like to be called? First of all, what does your mom call you?
My mom calls me Andy.
Andy?
Andy.
Has that always been the case? When she's angry with you, is it Andrew?
Born Andrew Carl Jacobson. When I get in trouble, Andrew Carl is the one that comes out.
And then
Grandpa Carl.
And then your buddies, what do your buddies call you? If it's appropriate, of course.
Some call me Tiny. Some call me Andy. Some call me Hey You.
Did you ever have nicknames from your brothers or friends?
I didn't for my brothers. My brothers are younger. I'm the oldest of three, so I had nicknames for them, and they had none for me.
Oh, okay, that's kind of how it goes with siblings. You get to pick on them. My younger brother has a nickname that we won't say on the podcast, but it's not horrible, but you know. And then at school, a lot of people call you Mr. J. Where did that come from, or did that just happen?
This has been my name. Obviously, I think when I was teaching elementary school students, they couldn't say my last name, Jacobson, being too long, so it just turned into Mr. J. Then it was Coach J, and it's Mr. J, and Hey J, and everyone thinks my name is J, which is not. It's Andy, but that's okay. It's pretty cool. So I've been known as Mr. J, and actually with my family as well. They call me Mr. J, and they call my mom Grandma J, and my wife, Mrs. J, and it's kind of a catchy thing.
So then it just stuck, huh?
Just stuck, and it's easier. I kind of like it. I actually answer, if you say Andy, I don't know who you're talking to, so I answer to Mr. J.
Good. How was your Easter?
It was interesting. Having Easter Sunday in a car, and also...
You guys drove up as a family?
No,
just you?
I was working Mass with you, so I was watching you in the snow, and then I was part of the collection team in the parking lot with Phil. So my family was in a car. So after the collections, I headed back to the car and spent some time in the car praying with my family.
Nice. So they drove up separate. Is that true? No?
Yep. We had two cars at Easter.
So then you guys go to Mass, or you sit and kind of listen to Mass or watch it from afar, and then you go home. What do the Jacobsons eat for Easter lunch or brunch or dinner or whatever?
This year we had ham. We had ham, and we had mashed potatoes, and we had corn, and it was, my wife bought a 8-pound ham. It was huge. We'll have ham from now until the end of the month. But no, it was a great feast for my kids and for my wife and I, just to kind of hang out and enjoy the Easter season in my house.
Some ham Sammies for the Easter season.
Absolutely.
Desserts? Any particular desserts at the Jacobson house?
Cookies. No, we had some chocolate chip cookies, and that's about it. Not a big of desserts. The kids love their cookie ice cream sandwiches every night before they go to bed. Nothing special.
Ice cream sandwiches before bed.
Yeah,
nice.
Perfect, right? It's the late night snack for.
It's a recipe for some good sleep.
Yeah, that's how you grow. That's how you get to be 7 feet tall.
Nice.
Don't quote me on that.
So you've been at Transfiguration for how long here?
Man.
Too long?
Yeah, it
10
seems
years?
Like about 12 years, maybe.
12 years. Wonderful. And our connection is to you being the principal is kind of intertwined almost. You became the principal, and I became a gym teacher for a year for a couple of the younger kids, which they're still working out in therapy. But they'll be all right, I think.
No, I think you're probably in the top three favorite Phi Ed teachers of all time.
Top 30. All right. Top 30. Just some questions about teaching and being a principal. What got you into teaching? Why do you like teaching?
I have a knack for kids. I don't know. I think from growing up and noticing the cool things my teachers were doing when I was growing up, and then getting into high school and being a part of a DARE program and teaching kids to say no to drugs and do those things. And that was in high school, so I was a high school senior at Egan High School. And then really going to college and trying to figure out what I love to do. And I love teaching kids, and I love playing sports. So putting those together, and I want to become a Phi Ed teacher. So to have that perfect norm of watching the light bulb come on, really teaching, sportsmanship to our kids again. I think in the social media and beyond right now, it's not positive. It's more of a negative when you're playing sports and taunting yourself and not having a bigger purpose for the reason that you're playing sports. So really get into that. But again, I love kids. I walk again with my height being pretty tall that I am.
So how tall are you? I mean, everyone listening on the podcast can't really see right now, but how tall are you? I'll ask for the one
on my driver's license. It says I'm 6'11". I think I'm 6'10" and about 6'10" and a half.
That's your basketball roster height to intimidate the other teams?
Absolutely.
You go 6'11"?
Absolutely, 6'11". But I had that on my license plate once. But no, I think my height plays a role. I'm walking in the neighborhoods and being out and about, and kids will come up to me and they want to measure up and they want to see how tall they are against me and those things. And I think when I was a kid, maybe mid-high school, I ran into a person that was taller than myself, and he was very unkind to some of those little kids that walked up to him. It really changed my life and my perspective that I would never treat people that way. And I would always, treat little kids that were in awe of my height or my the way I look, with the God-given talents of my height, that I would really, be kind to them and give them a high five, or even today maybe just an elbow, to stay my social distancing, but really kind of make their day and really focus on them and finding a way to make them happier than they were when they walked up to me.
It's an extra high five from Mr. Jacobs, so that's for sure. How many neighborhood hoops have you been dunking on recently when you're traveling around?
I haven't dunked on many.
Oh, come on.
Hey, I'm concerned about it hasn't been all that warm. I'm afraid they'd break off.
3-pointers. Okay.
Yeah.
Stick to the threes.
I'm not bad.
So, did you have a favorite teacher when you were a kid, other than your mom? Did your mom teach your whole life, or did she pick that up in the later stages?
My mom was a teacher my whole life.
Who's your favorite teacher, other than your mom? It's cheating if you're going to pick your mom.
Mom, you are my favorite teacher. But my favorite teacher, I think, is probably my third grade teacher at St. John Vianney in Brookfield, Wisconsin. I was a new student coming into second and third grade, and she really made the grade great for me, and the going to a new school, meeting new friends, really making those connections, and obviously starting my faith journey at a new school in Wisconsin.
Shout out to all those teachers. I think it's kind of amazing how you can think about your favorites in your life, but your favorite teacher is probably the easiest to pick because they make such a deep impression on your life. I know I can pick out mine. Mr. Scogan from high school history class was immensely helpful to me when I was going through chemotherapy and all that stuff. And it's amazing how you ask someone what their favorite movie is, or their favorite color, or their favorite vacation spot, and it might take them a little while, and you ask them who their favorite teacher was, and they know exactly. They know who it was, and they can see themselves sitting in their classroom even right now. It's kind of amazing. So shout out to all you teachers. You are making such an impression on the lives of our kids and ourselves. I mean, all of us, almost all of us, can think of our favorite teacher right now. Give them a shout out if you see them on Facebook or whatever else. Tell them the impact that they've made in your life. So you had this favorite teacher in third grade. Did that inspire you to become a teacher right away? Were there other aspirations in your life? So maybe a different question. On a free Saturday, it's nice outside, and you could get paid to do what you're doing. What would you do?
To be honest, I'd be on a golf course. I think being a professional golfer would be the coolest thing in the world. I understand the stress.
Except for all the pressure.
Except for the pressure and the stress. But I think it'd be an awesome way to spend a Saturday, either with my son or with my son and daughter, or with my family, or even by myself. Just hanging out on the golf course is a place to be. That's what I want to. I really love to do that in the summer when I have the time to get out there and just enjoy nature, enjoy trying to hit this little ball in this little cup somewhere far away, hitting it really hard, and walking to go find it.
You got any favorite golf spots here in Minnesota, or that you've been to?
I live on Eagle Valley Golf Course. I like that golf course a lot. But I kind of like the Badlands in Hammond, Wisconsin.
Really?
It's a nice course. Interesting. Like lots of hills.
Nice. How many balls are you going to be losing there?
Plenty with the slice, going hard right. Self-taught slice.
Did you teach yourself golf, or did you take classes? Or
I did. In seventh grade, kind of funny story. In seventh grade, I had a friend that said, "Hey, you want to play in this golf tournament?" And I was like, "Sure." Never played golf before, but I kind of dabble a little bit with my dad. But I played in this tournament, and it turned out that I got third and got this huge trophy, and he got fourth.
You were hooked.
Oh, he got fourth. He was not happy getting fourth. If I wouldn't have been there, he would have got third, but I got third. So it was kind of hooked at that point to get a huge trophy from being in this tournament and playing golf.
Well, someone with your long arms, you add a club to that, you can really hammer that ball quite a ways, I suppose, every once in a while, huh?
It is a fun way to hit a ball, I tell you.
It
And
is
relieve
good.
stress. It's a great way of relieving stress and just enjoying.
I love going to. I'm not a golfer, but I do like hitting balls as hard as I can at the driving range. But mine too do that right turn signal thing about halfway through, and then they end up landing on the road. But I still love it. It's really fun. When I was a kid, my mom worked by a golf course, and she would every once in a while just pick up a bucket of balls for me, and we'd bring them home. And this is probably illegal, but I would hit them with my baseball bat like as far as I could. Now it's probably stayed on our property for the most sake, but there might be some at the bottom of the Crow River as well. So
that's great. That's great.
There's nothing more fun than hitting them with an aluminum bat and just seeing them go as far as you can see.
Well, as a kid, again, getting outside and just making up games, find a way to hit balls or other things, and pick up rocks, hit rocks. Again, doing all those fun things when we were kids.
So life has changed here at Transfiguration, and I've seen you going out to the neighborhoods, dunking on neighborhood hoops and shooting threes. But what are some of the things that have changed, and what are some of maybe even the hidden blessings of this time in quarantine or whatever we're going to call it?
I think I've been blessed. I was reaching out to a few of our students that needed iPads and heading to their house and dropping off iPads, and I came with kind of an idea to stop by all of our students' houses. I think it's been a unique thing for me to see where everybody lives. I know that I was talking to some 8th graders yesterday on Zoom and talking about, again, when I drive by, I know where they live, and I can give them a shout out with a peace sign and those things, and really kind of thinking about where our students come from and what their story looks like, and be more of an inspiration of what's going on. Again, this is a special time. I talked to the 8th graders yesterday about just really thinking that they didn't really realize that March 5th was the last day that they're going to spend time together. And again, but knowing now that, again, every day is precious. And again, I think we as adults figure that out very quickly, that, again, when you lose someone, that's very difficult. But, there's students that are losing things right now, which is okay to understand that, again, every day is a blessing. And every day we're praying to God for good things. And we're continuing to do our best in every single day and putting everything into that day, not just saying, hey, today's going to be a day we do nothing, but really kind of stressing that to do every day like it's not your last, but doing the very best you can, and every day you do things. But again, I have 8 families left, about 123 families. I'm going to probably stop by those families today.
Dang.
I don't know how many miles I put on my truck, but it's been a lot. But it's been a grind, but it's been awesome to see the students come to the door so excited and just jumping and so excited and just excited to see me, and they can't believe that Mr. J is standing at the front door. And again, I'm there for less than 30 seconds just to say hello, just to check in, make sure things are going well, and to see if they need any help. And really, it's been, I think, very beautiful. I had a lot of families that have said, thank you so much for stopping by, and really making the difference for them to see a human face, and also to have their students see their principal.
Well, I want to commend you not only for that, but just the witness you've been here for my entire time here at Transfiguration. I got thrown into teaching gym class for a year, and I was way over my head, and you were immensely helpful, not only just giving me some little tips, but just mentoring me as, just being thoughtful about how to teach younger kids. I love little kids, and they're super, super cute, and I miss the kids themselves. I don't miss the whole herding of them trying to play sharks and minnows for the entire year, teaching them a new class. But you've been an incredible witness here, and I think, you kind of got thrown into being the principal at 5 years ago now. But you've been amazing, and the way that you lead with courage and the way that you lead with thoughtfulness, you're the most thoughtful principal and teacher I've ever met in my life. I mean, most of the times we're so, drowning in our own stuff, and we're so busy with everything, we rarely have an opportunity to think, how am I going to affect this one life today? And I think I've seen, at least I want to honor you in a way that I've seen you take, all the craziness that's happening, but still be able to focus on that one life, that one kid that's in the office, that one kid that's having a tough time, that one teacher that's having a tough time right now, and to be able to just focus on them with an immense amount of love. If you have any fault at all, and there probably aren't any, if you have any fault at all, you might love too much. You might actually care too much, and it probably takes a little bit out of you by the end of the day. I can recall a scripture from Jesus saying, I felt the power leave me when the woman was healed, when she touched his garment. I kind of get that image with you, that like all these kids are like grabbing after your garment, or, the 6'11" of you. And it must be a little bit taxing. How does that feel when you go home? Are you able to unwind, or you just go to the driving range and hit a couple balls about 500,000 feet and go home?
No, but thanks, Justin. I appreciate that. And again, I do. I go home and I'm spent. The days that I put in are, I put everything into my days, and I put everything into my students and everything into my faculty. Again, kudos to my teachers for the job they're doing now. And actually kudos to the staff of Transfiguration. I think stepping up in these times to not let things stop. Continue on and push forward. And I think as a staff, as church staff and school staff combined, we've been, again, I think as you said a long time ago, we've been crushing it. We've been crushing it on the church side, keeping up the sacraments and beyond, and crushing it in the Transfiguration at home too. Keeping our students learning, keeping the curve for learning great at Transfiguration, and really kind of a kudos to everything that's going on here.
Yeah, you guys really have been doing an amazing job. I can't even imagine having to completely shift absolutely everything you do. Actually, well, I kind of can, because now I'm like a producer and all this other stuff. That's completely changed my job description. I'm sitting on a computer a lot more than I'm used to, and talking to people, face to face quite a bit less, except for on the podcast here. But life has changed. It's different, and you guys have taken it in stride and done a great job. So I want to shift a little bit to maybe why you chose to teach at a Catholic school, and maybe the benefits of a Catholic school here. Maybe this is a little bit of a promotion, but also just yourself. We all make sacrifices in our life, and it's a little bit of a sacrifice to teach at a Catholic school. But I think it's also, there's a lot of blessings to it as well. So maybe you can say your personal reasons for teaching at a Catholic school, why you love it so much, if you do, of course, and then some thoughts on that.
Yeah, I love Transfiguration Catholic School. Again, not just because I'm the principal. Again, I do have two students of my own in fourth grade that have gone through kindergarten through fourth, and Luke and Lexia, they're fantastic. Watching them grow and learn and really show love to them. Watching kids walk through our hallways and hug every single teacher on the way to their next teacher where they're going is just amazing. I can tell you, to be honest, as a kid, I was drugged to church by my mom. My mom took me to church every single Sunday.
Amen. Way to go, Miss J.
And Dad too, obviously. But taking the family to church was a huge thing for our family. And again, I think it obviously paid dividends now. She taught me at a very young age to really do work as hard as you possibly can, and pray, and good things will happen. And that's kind of what I've been doing. So I went from being a FIAD teacher to a principal. And again, like you talked about in a matter of moments, but really, Transfiguration just forms students. They form students, again, not just spiritual. Again, the spirituality of our students is fantastic, but they really form them academically and emotionally, and really getting emotionally ready for high school, because high school's a different deal. And again, high school's difficult for a lot of people on a lot of different areas, and it's not just academically, but really I think Transfiguration does a great job of kind of maturing our students, getting them ready for what high school is, and having that K-8 model of having all these teachers and all these opportunities is great. I think in our middle school especially, they get to be mentors, and I think of my own journey of how I became a mentor to a lot of students, that we offer that to our students. So we have our 8th graders that work with our 2nd grade students, and we have our 7th graders working with 1st grade, and we have our 6th graders working with kindergarten. But being a mentor, again, taking yourself out of the role of really about you, but now you're in charge of somebody else, and you got to make their day. And really, again, like Justin said before about talking about, again, you got to watch what you say, and you got to really be mindful of yourself to make a difference in someone else's life. And I think having those experiences changes who you are and matures you as you move to the next section of your life, which is high school.
Yeah, what are some of the things that you had a quick learning curve becoming a principal from the Phi Ed teacher, but I know this about you, that you're a professional. You don't mess around and just like do stuff. There's plenty of people in almost every single profession on the planet that just show up to work and just do work stuff, and they do work things, but they're not really professionals at what they do. I learned very quickly when I got thrown into being the Phi Ed teacher that even being a Phi Ed teacher for kindergarten, first, second, and third grade, you still got to be you have to be a professional. Otherwise, those kids will run you over, potentially even literally run you over. What are the things that you found transitioning into the principal role that you've had to kind of hone your skills? Because you've clearly have the love for the kids, and you clearly have a wonderful way of mentoring them. But the principal role is quite different in that, you know, you got to have a view of the entire parish and the entire school in your periphery.
That's a great question, Justin.
Don't worry, we could cut out all the
all the impossibilities. Thanks. But you hit it. You hit the nail on the head. Again, being a teacher it's a different. You get to see the students every single day. Being a principal, you get to see the office, and there's a lot of paperwork that goes with that. But there's a lot of time for reflection, and really about a time to think outside the box again for the future of what Transfiguration is going to look like. And I think having expectations for students and having expectations for staff and having expectations for myself to know that, again, this is not the Mr. J is going to do this and it's Mr. J's way. This is what God wants. This is what Transfiguration is going to be, and this is where we're going to go. And I think having those expectations and having those parameters that say, hey, we got to be professional. We got to think about how we're going to change the lives of these students again, and really get them in touch and have an encounter with Jesus Christ at our school. How are we going to do that, and how are we going to really transfigure them, so to speak, into what they're going to do for the rest of their life? And again, and really, we talk to the teachers very oftenly about we won't know, as a longtime coach and also now, principal, really think about, you don't know the impact you're making until 10 years from now, until they have they start getting married and having their own kids, and really thinking about, again, we got to get baptized. We got to, join back into a church. So really making those differences and really giving them a solid foundation now. And even though you think that maybe they're not hearing it right now, they're hearing you right now, and they're hearing our teachers and they're hearing our staff members talking about, again, all these great things that they're doing, but really finding that basis for, Jesus in their life to really understand that, again, this is bigger than just going to high school. This is bigger than just being a 7th or 6th grade student. So it's big. It's big, and it's important.
Amen. It's about being a beloved son or daughter of Jesus Christ, being an heir to the kingdom of heaven, and hopefully one day being with him there. So speaking of professionalism, I hear through the grapevine you're taking a class right now. Can you tell our audience what that class is, and maybe all the answers to the tests that are coming up, or papers you're writing right now?
I'm in the School of Divinity through St. Thomas. I'm on a class that is for Catholic school leaders and Catholic school leadership. The classes that I'm taking now is a Catholic school law class and Catholic school mentorship, our Catholic school leadership mentorship program. I just finished a 25-page paper yesterday for that class,
Woo!
As well as 25 reflections with my mentor, or I could say mentors. I've had 2 or 3 mentors through this, with my last mentor being Anne Marie Vega from Cisco, which is the Catholic Schools Center for Excellence, really providing kind of a taste of how to increase enrollment, how to increase excellence within the school. Again, my paper is on Latino enrollment. I'm trying to find a way to find an avenue for Latino families to come to our church and come to our school. And really understand that it's their God-given grace to come to Transfiguration as well. It's not just for elite students. It's not just for special students. It's for all students, including Latino families that are in the area looking for an awesome Catholic education and a vibrant community of Transfiguration. We'd love to have them come for a tour, come and check us out. I'll give you a virtual tour today.
Yeah, how can they come check you out right now? I mean, I'm sure we have thousands of listeners right now that are saying, I really want to be a part of this awesome school. It sounds like they're doing really great things.
I heard it was hundreds of thousands. Is that right?
Possibly. We'll see. The sky's the limit. So how can they get in touch with you right now? How can they kind of figure out any questions they have about the school? Or like you said, maybe they can take a virtual tour. How's that going to happen right now?
You can go to our website, transfigurationmn.org. And check out all the good things that are happening, as well as our Transfiguration online. There's things we're doing for our students right now. But I'll take you on a Zoom tour. Again, you can reach out to me at principal@transfigurationmn.org by email. And again, I will reach out to you by Zoom and I'll have you walk through kind of the quiet hallways of Transfiguration right now. But it's a way for you to see our school and see some of the things that we're doing. And then when we get back in session at some point, I could have you back again for a tour or a shadow or whatever you are looking for.
I could not recommend higher our school. It's a wonderful school, and we have the best principal in the state of Minnesota, maybe the nation, maybe the world. We'll see. The voting is still out, but I want to thank you again for coming, Mr. Jacobson. It's been an honor to not only just podcast with you, it's been an honor to work with you for the last, I don't even remember, I think I've been here 7 years now. You've been a pillar of our culture here. You've been a pillar of mentorship for me personally as well, and I can't thank you enough for being here.
Well, thank you, Justin. I appreciate that, and again, I appreciate your talks, and you're my as Justin Shea would say, you're my Google Catholic. So I have two Google Catholic people that I talk to about questions and things that I have questions on as an adult, and those are Justin Shea, our religion teacher and formation coordinator in the school, then also you, Justin, again, coming to you with questions and ideas and how to make myself better, spiritual and beyond. You really ground me and put me in a spot where, again, I believe that I can grow and I can change lives and really do the things that I want to do.
Now, thanks for coming. Hope this was helpful for our listeners. If you want to get in contact with Mr. J, visit our website, transfigurationmn.org, and we'll see you next time. God bless.
Peace.